Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 to 9, where we discuss something that is relevant in sports. And today we're going to be talking football. But before I introduce my guest to you, I want to first of all say a special thank you to Mr. Elvis Canterbury, the superintendent of YTC, because he was the man responsible for getting my guest onto this program. And once I spoke with him, you know, he was all for it. So, Mr. Canterbury, thank you very much, and all the best to you. You have seen time and time again on ACTN, where we will bring you highlights of the positive things that comes out of our prison system, especially YTC and the other institutions. Today we have a bunch of young men, and a very interesting story, and they are all part of the prison FC, the prison football team, and they were successful this year in achieving promotion to League One in the new version of the Trinidad and Tobago Super League. And to tell us more about this program, we have on set, let me first introduce the head coach, Anderson Veronic, prison officer 2, yes, and also head coach. Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here with us this afternoon. And we also have Kwesi Williams. Now, Kwesi is not a member of YTC, but a very interesting story which we will hear more of. And one of the lads coming out of YTC, Isaiah Thomas. Welcome, gentlemen, again to ACTN. Coach, let's start with you. Congratulations on your achievement this year, promotion to League One. But let's go back a bit. Give us a brief history of the football team that comes out of the prison.
The prison team was formed, well, I should reformed around 1990. And we campaigned in the Eastern Football Association, East Zone. Right. We stayed there until about maybe 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years. We got promoted to the Super League. We have been trying to get promoted to League One for the past 3 seasons. We have achieved that this year.
How was it difficult, you know, you said for the last 3 years, so I guess you all had some challenges along the 3 years. You want to share that with us?
Well, of course, like with everything else. 3 years ago, we were, if we want to call it a final, per se, against Queen's Park, a playoff for promotion. We needed 1 point. We lost the game, right? So we didn't get promoted. Then we went through a little transition in terms of staff management, tweak a couple of things, right? And so we did it. We learned from that mistake, and so we were able to achieve the promotion this year.
Now, the makeup of the team is not all prison officers.
No,
it's a combination. Tell us about that.
Well, we have a lot of applicants, right? So the ones that are interested and who have made the required level.
When you say applicants?
To be recruited into the prison service, right? There are also a couple of YTC boys who have the required standard. I am always one for youths, right? They are the disciplined youths. We took a decision to promote them to the team, right? Isaiah have remained. We had Isaiah is also a goalkeeper.
Okay.
He was our backup goalkeeper for part of the season. I've scored about 4 goals, including 1 in the semi-final, right? We are in the final of the League Cup as well. Isaiah scored 1 of the goals against UTT. So once you are talented and disciplined, that catches my eye, and I will always give you opportunity.
Yeah, because I know a couple of years back I visited YTC, and I know that they had lads from YTC playing for Joe Public and a lot of other teams on the outside. So I know that the talent pool inside of YTC is great. What is the when I say not combination, how is the team gelling between the officers and the lads? Because what I'm trying to get here is that I'm sure that the lads playing alongside the officers will be looking to use that as a sort of mentorship or guidance for these young guys you know, to be alongside?
Well, that was part of the idea as well, to have positive role models, not only in life, but also on the field. So that whereas they might be looking at heroes externally, they may have some heroes because the home games, the boys are allowed to come out and look at the game.
Okay.
So maybe a couple of seasons ago, they might have been seeing a couple of players who they admired their style of play, and now they have been privileged to play alongside them. So that was one of the things that we looked at, and it have worked out quite well this season thus far.
So far, everything sounds easy, but in everything there are challenges. What are some of the challenges you all face? You know?
Yeah. Registration this year was a bit difficult because of the funding was difficult. It's not easy. It's never easy to bring a team, as you say, gel in, to bring that kind of compatibility on the pitch, to have them understanding each other. It's not easy at all. So we had the preseason wasn't the best, right? So we had our challenges in terms of that, but by the grace of God, we overcame, and so we are here now.
How have the hierarchy of the prison service? What support and how are they looking at the team now, where you all get promotion, you know, and looking forward to greater things? What is the support coming out of the top level?
Right. The support is very good. We have a very supportive manager, Mr. Bibi, Ferdinand Bibi.
Okay. But I mean, he's into sports, so he...
That's right.
Yeah.
So he's a sports person as well. So he understands. So he's extremely supportive. Almost anything we ask for, we try to provide. So as well as the hierarchy, the commissioner, Mr. Alexander, of course, he have to give his blessings to all the activities that take place. So we have that, we feel that support from on top.
Kwasi, sorry. A very interesting story, right? You are not a member of YTC, but you're on the team.
Yeah.
Share your story with us.
I come from Malik Secondary School. And I come to play a game against YTC in a practice match, and the officers saw me and tell me to come back and start a train. And now I end up on the team.
What? No, you play for Malik, right?
Yeah.
So you have that experience. What have you brought to the team in the sense of you as a player? What position you play?
Midfield, attacking midfield.
Right. So where do you, your role is what?
To support the players on the field, to help the attackers in the defense. I is the key on the field, the midfielder.
And you have gel with the team,
Yeah.
right? Now, how would you say, this is your first season, right?
Yeah.
What was the experience like for you?
It was good. Good experience.
And I guess you're eagerly awaiting that November the 18th clash with Guaya United, right? Because, I mean, you're going to be getting a chance to play against some of the top footballers in the country at present, because they have a star-studded team, eh? You understand? Looking back now at your season, it hasn't ended as yet, actually, because you still have the final. But looking back at your season, any areas where you think that have some work to do still?
Yeah. I just sharpen up for the game.
All right. Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a bit about, you're a member of YTC.
Yes.
How did you actually get the opportunity to come onto the team? What's your story like?
Well, when I come in YTC, I could have played football from since Saudi. I used to play for Lambo, play for Signal.
You from Tobago?
Yeah, I went to Signal school. And I come in YTC. I started playing with the team. I was a good player myself. I was just a coach, man. Then he ended up being the coach at prison. And I ended up getting the opportunity. And I just keep training.
You scored in the semi-finals, right?
Yes.
That was against who?
UTT.
UTT. Now, UTT is coached by Clayton Morris. And in the opening of the league, I think they were one of the top teams, right, for quite a while, right? So, I mean, beating a team like UTT right, must have given you all that additional, confidence in yourself, right? Tell me about that game. What was that game like for you?
That game, it was a nice game. Real pace, the game was pace. And I just say, I started that game, I say I had to score that game. And I went out there and I scored, and I'm glad for that. And I want to keep on scoring.
Playing football for the prison team, how has that helped you to adjust your stay at YTC?
Well, it more better because I have more things to do, and I could get a better future. People gonna be seeing me and somebody got summer, and I could just keep working on until somebody summer.
Coach, you have a final coming up, right? You had a chance to look back at all the league games, right? As the coach, what area you still have a little concern, and is the cancellation of the game to a later date giving you that extra time to correct wherever you see that you need to sharpen up?
Well, yeah. We could be a little more compact when we are defending. Right? We tend to like to press the ball a lot, but we could be a little more compact. We could be, we could manage the game better. Right? When we scored around the 60th minute. It was 4-1 against UTT. Eventually ended at 4-2. We got a little loose, right? So we could be a little more compact, a little more. We could manage the game better. The game being put back the 18th. Actually, the players wanted to play. I wanted to play. All right. We made our mind up. We think we saw what the team was doing on the night. Was 2 semifinals, and everybody was eager to play. But, you had to adjust your mentality and be prepared for the 18th. We can't do anything about it. So we'll make best use of the time.
So you saw UTT Guaya play, so you have a fair idea what and how you're going to be attacking that game. This new Super League that was, well, you have to say new because, the Super League was there, but Leclerc and them took it over this year and transformed it. Are you all satisfied with the direction the league is taking, or are there areas that maybe you as the coach, you also have a concern or anything like that?
The direction is the correct direction, it's the right direction. As with anything else, there are areas that needs to be worked on, right? Some of the, for example, this final was postponed. It was supposed to be on Saturday. I forget what they brought it to the Friday. Then we were preparing again for the Friday, and then suddenly they said, okay, it's the 18th. So it had us up. So these are some of the things we need to fix. I think the officiating could get better. So a couple of things here that it needs to work on. It needs to work on.
Isaiah, what's your goal you have set yourself for in your career as a footballer, right? I mean, you're gonna be released one of these days. All this experiences. What is your goal? What have you set for yourself?
I want to play for Trinidad and Tobago national team and make it to the English Premier League. That's my goal.
When you look at where you are presently, where do you see Isaiah having to put in a lot more work to be where you should be?
A little more fitness and work on some speed work, and Isaiah gonna be finished.
How are you preparing? You practice and everything, yeah, it's fine, but how are you mentally preparing for that fight? Because that's a big final, that's the League Cup, right? I mean, that could do wonders for the team, right? Mentally, how are you preparing for this game? Especially if you have to be in the goal. Are you going to be, okay, but he plays outside.
Striker, yeah.
The striker, right? And I mean, with that one goal you scored to get into the semifinals, I can't see the coach leaving you out in the starting for the finals. So whether you are not sure if you're going to start or if you're going to come off the bench or how it is, you must prepare mentally for a game like this. And I'm sure you know that, okay, Guaya is a big name team, but on any day, you know, I mean, anything can happen. How are you preparing for that?
Well, I just training hard to go out there and finish the goals. Preparing, I had to do more work defensively, although attacking. So I'm preparing how to defend properly, push the ball one side, and go out there and score.
Kwesi,
Kwasi.
Kwasi, as a footballer, you have set goals for yourself, right? You're playing with the prison team right now. What plans you have in store?
I like to be a professional footballer. My goal now.
And you're looking forward to the 18 too.
Eh,
Coach, the combination of this team, right? Is it a difficult thing to select your starting 11?
Of course. We have a good bunch, right? When we are all together, quality is very good. And of course, it's a bit of a headache to select, right? But of course, consultation with the assistant, with the rest of the staff, you know, we get there. Most of the time, we make the right decision, right? But it's difficult. It's difficult. Once everybody's in training, it's difficult because the quality is good qualities.
And how often do you all train?
We train 3 days a week. On the week of the final, we'll train every day. Right, again, with the assistance of the manager, we'll arrange that so that we will come out every day to train on that week.
And you all have, you said that the members of the team comprise people who have applications inside waiting on recruitment. Now, to me, I see that as a good initiative because, I mean, before you enter the work field, you already have an idea of the gelling or the combination of how the officers and the lads and everybody operate. This year have to be one of your most successful years, right? But looking back at 1990 to now, how has the team grown?
Well, a lot of things have changed. The way we prepare, we are now more informed, right? The pool, then we only play with the officers, right? The team will comprise only of the officers, right? So now we have a wider pool.
Was that difficult because sometimes, you know, officers work shift? Was it any student?
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of things have changed, right? So that you have a man will come from work at night. You'll have to come to train. That is extremely difficult. You may not have the support of the staff per se because people's mentality about sport was a kind of by the way something. Right? But now you have the senior staff, the commissioner, everybody's on board. So the officers have this greater sense of support, right? So the work to play in ratio relationship is much better balanced and better understood.
Now, I'm looking here and I see that you all played and defeated two of the three wins here. Two of the teams are in the top level of the Super League. Phoenix from Tobago and the Big Cannons. I mean, that's a huge achievement to defeat teams like this because it shows that you all, if not on par, but could compete with the bigger name teams. Reflecting on, especially, you told me about the UTT already, the 4-2, but the Phoenix and the Santa Rosa, I mean, to defeat these two teams is a huge achievement. If you could reflect back on those two games, tell me a bit about that. What was the tactics applied?
We know, we have looked at Santa Rosa, we looked at them. We know Santa Rosa tend to go very direct, right? So we were prepared for that. We tried to use the width a lot when we were attacking. And we also knew, as I said, they don't keep the ball long. They will try to go very direct. But when we try to keep the ball, we try to be a little more patient. So we were, the defenders especially, because they go direct, we're very, very instructed to be very careful about the ball behind their backs, right? Um, we were 1-0 up at the half. It was a penalty. We got a penalty, and then of course they tried to open up. We closed up the game a bit, right? And we scored on the counter maybe in the 80th minute, right? So we were happy with the win against Phoenix, right? Against Phoenix, we had no prior information about Phoenix, right? I tried to get some information, right? They were a bit slow, right? They tend to have a lot of senior players, right? So they were a bit slow, and the game was at our home ground at YTC. So we took control, and it was a good game for us. So we won.
Now, when you got the job to coach the team, did you change the style of coaching prior to the coach that was there before? And how did you go about? Because sometimes what I'm getting at is that you have a coach coaching a bunch of players, and then the next coach comes and he changes everything. Did you come in and change, or did you just add to what was there before?
Okay, so last year we were in a bit chaotic, right, in terms of the team structure. The previous year we had Mr. Prescott, who did a very good job, took the team to the final to be qualified, was unsuccessful. So he's my assistant now. So we are on a certain level, right? We try to play the ball on the ground, keep the ball on the ground as much as possible, keep possession of the ball, press the ball. So we are on par in terms of that. So there's no difference. We just take it to another level because both of us have the same philosophy in terms of how we want to play and how we want to achieve how the game should be played. So it was no different.
Okay.
Kwasi.
You make sure you correct me. Where you live presently? Mover. So you travel, on a daily basis. What's it like for you I'm not talking so much of the officers, right? As a young person from Mover, you know the stigma of Mover, right? What's it like for you to be around guys like Isaiah here, who are in YTC? What I'm trying to get, how you all communicate, what you all talk about?
Talk like normal football talk, try to make a bond, forget the YTC and
okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. So you don't see Isaiah as a lad from YTC. No. You see him as a normal young person. So and for you, Isaiah, how you look at that?
I look at him as a normal friend, a normal person.
Before we take our break, Coach, is there anything you would like to share with us that we really haven't really touched on, right? Because I'm really, I want people to understand that this is not just a football team. It's the prison officers going beyond the call of duty, because the team could have remained a full-fledged team with officers. But bringing these guys, and it's not just that you have a guy from YTC. You have a guy from a so-called hotspot area, right? Now, people might just watch the whole thing as a football team playing football. But I think from where you sit, you are seeing it quite differently. You share that with me.
Well, it's a reflection of what is taking place behind the walls. Right? We don't judge, right? We take people for who they are. So the thing about it is the talent. As I said, the talent, your discipline, you're good enough. So I don't look at we don't look at what area you come from. If you're in YTC, it's not about that. The entire prison system is about restorative justice, about restoring people. So we are no better than them, right? The officers, we have committed, we have done things that maybe we could have been incarcerated for.
I always say so. Yeah.
Right? So we are no better than them. So Isaiah and Kwasi who we saw playing in that tournament, talented. We invited him in via Miss Devines, who was a social worker in his school, at his school, right? Isaiah, who I've worked with for a couple of years, saw his talent, his discipline, so he's good enough, right? And then we have the added benefit of being around responsible adults, right, and doing the thing you love. So that's part of the outreach, that the corporate social responsibility we projecting. The same thing that takes place behind the walls. We don't know, people don't know about it, but this is the project here.
That's why I always, not really boast, but I always mention that's why ACTN is always at the prison, because I always tell people that there are so many positive things that goes on behind the prison walls, but you hardly hear about it. What you hear about is a prisoner escape, some keys missing, that's front page. But things like this, you don't ever hear about it, right? You don't hear about the officers who go the extra mile, right, to give back, right? And these are the things that I think that Trinidad and Tobago ought to know more of, right? And I'm really glad that I got the opportunity, to have you all here I wouldn't even say no disrespect to the adults, but the young men and them, for Trinidad and Tobago to see, right? Because, Isaiah could have remained inside there, be bitter, right? Blame the system, and throw the career of football down the line, right? Kwasi could have easily tried for another team, right? A more recognized team outside there, right? For the limelight. So again, I know we're going to take a break because we have some other guys to bring on, but I really want to thank you all for coming. I really want to wish you all the best in the final. Definitely I'll be there for that, because I was already prepared for that final, but I'm going to be there on the 18th, and I openly support you all, and if there's any way that we here at ACTN can assist you all in any way whatsoever, feel free to call us.
Thank you very much.
Right?
Thank you for having us.
So Isaiah, Kwasi, and Coach Anderson.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you all very much, right? And all the best on the 18th of November.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
Viewers, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we have a couple more guys from the Prison FC going to be joining us. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the short break.
You're now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
My first question was, and roll back the tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
All about that, something.
In all the time we've played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua De Matos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. I love you, Messi.
Unfortunately, kiss the badge, Oh. What's that? Welcome to this edition of the interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard on ACTN, and we are speaking with members of the Prison FC. As you know, the Prison FC football team were very successful this year, gaining promotion to the League One in the Super League. We had 3 representatives earlier, and we have another 3 here with us. We have the assistant coach, Prison Officer 1, Gary Prescott. Gary, it's a pleasure
thank you
to have you here with us. And then we have Isaiah Perrott and Nicholas Farrell.
Yes, sir.
Two members, they only reserve team, but a member of the team nevertheless. Gary, I left you for last because speaking off camera, we discussed that two players who are present here with us are on the reserve team. And I know that in any team, once you get promoted to a different division, a higher division, that is where the work comes in, because you have to start to build now to be competitive, right, in the League One, right? Now, a couple years back, I came to YTC and I did a small interview, and you were present with the other coach, Diaz. Tell me in your own words, what was the transformation like from then to now, the success and what you all have achieved?
One thing I'll say about now compared to last time, just the fact that we open the doors for the YTC lads to have an opportunity to play for prison team, I think that has contributed to our success in terms of when you bless people, I believe you receive blessing in return.
Yeah.
And for these guys, they at YTC, right? So we would organize football games for them because I'm the coach at YTC now. And they would look at the prison team playing the Super League. To them, it's like, if it was possible for one day, I could be able to play for that team now. So we said, look, we'll give the opportunity to them. They're young too, plus, we need the younger players on the team to help with the team too. So when we open the doors today to have the opportunity to come and try out for the team, to me, I think God bless us a lot for that, because you have to really reach out and show love to people, and God will always bless you in what you're doing for that. So to me, just getting them on board has helped us a lot.
Is there a mad rush of youngsters from YTC wanting, now with seeing the success of the team, are there a big rush of players now to come?
Yeah, most of the guys who play football for YTC, they saying, coach, next year I'll come in to train for the team, I'll come in to train for the team. But the more important thing is that behind the scenes they're saying, I go and take it down, boy. I don't want to get in no trouble. Because I know if I do anything in discipline-wise, coach won't pick me for the team now. And that is really the goal that we wanted, to use the football as part of the program to transform these guys' lives now. I worked at maximum security prison for 14 years. I remember when Trinidad qualified for the World Cup. The first game Trinidad played, I think it was around 8 a.m. in the morning. So they put some television in the yards where these inmates would go for airing. And we arranged airing to be around the time.
That was in 2006?
Yeah. So airing was around the time that the game played. And when the national anthem for Trinidad was playing, to see every person in the yard stand at attention. And some of the guys was crying and things too. So since then I always know, well, football is so powerful now, that if we could use it as a tool to transform lives, we probably could make a difference more than just picking a team to win a trophy. And that is the philosophy in the football at prison, because you saw Kwesi Williams earlier. He from Mova. He's a very talented young man, and we want to see if we could guide his life through the football playing for prison. So, because the best footballers I've seen them in prison.
No, I mean, since I've been to YTC, YTC is a pool for talent in sports.
But not just YTC too, I'm talking about from my experience at MSP too. The best footballers I've seen, I've seen in this system.
I was there for one of the training with the futsal team. And boy, I seen some skills that I fellas ain't easy.
Right. And as prison officers, we have a responsibility to let these talents stay outside the prison. So we're using the football now as...
if you're coming back in, to help.
Play for prison. Don't come and play in prison. Come and play for prison. So that is the philosophy we have. And if we identify any youth in any area where they like to say high risk, then we would want to give them the opportunity to come to play for prison. Because we also have Cody Kojo, who he was at YTC. He was released 2 weeks ago. He starts for most of the games for us, right? And he went out and he's still coming back to play. And he said next season he's coming back to play again. So, and that is the thing, because he from Beetham Gardens. So we want to have some kind of impact in his life in a positive way. And so far it's going good, and that is really the goal. And as I say, once we're trying to bless lives, I know God will bless us too. And,
you know, when they talk about the World Cup and the guys and them, I remember because one of those games, I think was the Sweden game. That day I was at Carrera doing something they had up there. And I remember them guys rung a little TV and trying to fiddle with a piece of foil.
I
remember that. Now, a very interesting subject we spoke about earlier. Now, these guys who are going to be released, right? Now, yes, they're showing an interest in playing football for the team. But remember, these guys are coming out not going to secure a job as quickly as they would like to. But, I mean, to travel to YTC is a cost added to it. Are you all looking down the road to see, you know, how you all can or get somebody who could at least give these guys a little stipend? Because let me tell you something, survival is something that, right? I could want to play football for prisoner, but every time I study now, 3 days a week, I have to get at least $40, right? Plus the game day, you know, to travel. I might do it once, twice, 3 times, but it's going to get tight, right? And is there anything that the prison can do, right? And that's why I'm glad too that we're doing this interview, because I'm hoping that if there's a good Samaritan out there who would like to contribute to any one of these young guys here by way of traveling. Now, especially the ones who are leaving, because the ones who are still at YTC will get their free transport to and from. But the guys who are leaving and who are showing that commitment to remain on the team, you know, I mean, if there's anybody, it's not going to cost that much, but if there's anybody who will be willing to make that contribution so you can keep these guys on the right track. I mean, if there's anybody outside there who's willing to do that, you can call ACTN and we will get the relevant numbers for you all to call. But I think that is something we need to look at, because you don't want these guys to get frustrated. Yes, we love football, but we had to eat.
Of
right?
course,
And I can't take my money that I'm going to eat food to travel to go and play football. At the end of the day, all I might get is we win the game. Right? But let me come across to Nicholas Farrell.
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me about your football. You was a footballer before you went into YTC.
Yes, sir.
Right? Who used to play for what area you're from, things like that?
Yes, sir. I'm from San Juan, Bukmalaches. I used to play for Tyro Sports Club.
Yeah, that's our whole team.
Yeah, I used to play for Tyro Sports Club. Since I grew up, I think I always had love and passion for sports, and I always wanted to play for my country. You understand? So, as I make a little mistake, I think I end up in YTC.
And that's why good, Because sometimes you need to look at the bad things that happen to you to see the ending, which is always good, because sometimes, right, maybe you getting into that little trouble going in YTC save you from death or some kind of thing. You understand? So sometimes you have to look in every bad situation, there's a good, right? So I'm going to tell you something here now. You are enjoying a second life. Right? And why I'm saying that is because if it wasn't at YTC, you would not have been playing football. Right? Or you might have been playing football in some league. You might be following a crowd that down the wrong way. You're playing football for the person now and you're exposed. Right? So the goals that you have it now could be achieved because you're in the limelight. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, how are you preparing? Because I know you're on the reserve right now, but I'm sure that you're preparing and you have the time now to focus, because I know next year, right, you ain't want to play no low division. You're playing in the League One, right? So, tell me, how are you preparing yourself now mentally and physically to get selected on the team and to maintain that selection?
Well, first, I try to stay out of trouble. I ain't gonna get no more trouble and that man to train more and put more support and performance in the football. You understand? Because the man, since I young and thing, I always want to play football. So as a man, as I come in YTC and thing, I get the opportunity still to play the football. You understand? So I preparing for the Super League right now. You understand? Getting support from the coach and thing and trying to be and thing. But I hold it long, I'll make the team. You understand?
Compare the relationship with the coaches, or not with the coaches, with the officers now that you're on the football team, that towards where you weren't on the football team now. Is there a closer relationship and gelling with that?
Yes, it's a closer relationship.
So your life becomes easier, the officers' life becomes easier. So it's a love now inside YTC.
It's a love.
Mr. Perrat,
yes, sir.
you involved in football and rugby.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your footballing career at YTC. Tell me about it. How you got selected in the team, you know. What you was doing before you started the football?
I was doing my little schooling and thing, you know.
What area are you from?
I'm from Dorota Street, Lavandale.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing my little schooling and thing, you know. God, I didn't take it serious from when I was over there. So, you know, when I had it hard from when I was growing up now, and I grew up with my mother, you understand? So I'm really glad that I come in YTC and I get the opportunity to do a little schooling and thing. So you understand?
So you're appreciating going to YTC because it's really
for the opportunity.
Yeah, because again, it maybe there's a life saving, you know. But tell me about your footballing career. Now that you're not. Let me tell you something. You're not a big team, eh? Or beat Phoenix, or beat Santa Rosa. There's no doubt it's a big team. Yeah, it's a big team, right? What's it like playing, you know, now football, and how do your peers at YTC, how do they treat you, or how do they look at you all now?
Well, how do they look at me, right?
Did they treat you all any different or anything like that?
No, they don't treat me no kind of way. Everybody's alive, you don't know. So.
Gary, preparation, right? I mean, the league has, actually the league has ended for you all. It's just the finals, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you all start preparing already. Have you all identified external talent, or, you know, what's your plan?
Well, the thing is, the amount of players who are interested in playing for prison now,
you'd want to look for outside?
Yeah, it's amazing us. And we're thankful for that too. And it's like this, we have players from all over, from Port of Spain, from deep south, from in the east. So it's like players will go back and tell their partners, hey, prison have a nice thing going here. We can come and join the prison. So we don't really have to hunt for talent then. As coach said before, the challenge is picking the right team right now, because we have a lot of players. And even in the last selection for the job itself, I check about 20 players who from Super League and Pro League and ex-nationals who came to apply for the job. So once things go good with their application, we certain to have a good pool of players. And you were talking earlier about supporting the players financially. The prison officers on the team, they would put up money from their pocket from time to time to help support the civilians on the team.
See, that is what I was saying, right? People look at prison officers and you hear all kind of different comments and all kind of things, but the ones who go the extra mile, especially when they have programs inside the prison, right? People are not aware of what these officers, you know, offer to the inmates or the lads. You understand? Right? And these are some of the things that I feel that Trinidad and Tobago needs to know.
Yeah.
Right? Because an officer don't have to do this, you know. You go to your shift, and when your shift finish, you go home, you know. Right? So, I mean, I publicly want to thank you and, I mean, all the officers who go that extra mile, be it in football and whatever it is. I know one officer, he's no longer there, but he was a key man with rugby. That is Carl Muckett.
Yeah.
Right?
Mr. Muckett, yeah.
Right? I mean, he was, and then we have We have Jason Akwi,
Yeah.
you know, doing a
The
great job
boxing,
with the boxing, right? And I mean, who cares, right? But remember now that these lads will come out one day, right? And when they come out and they come out respectable and thing, I mean, nobody will hear the good work you or the Anderson or Akwi or Mocket have done, you know. So I want to take this opportunity before we end this program to really compliment you on doing a fine job. Right?
You see, the thing is, good news don't sell, as I say.
Exactly.
So bad news is what they sell.
Yeah.
And being a prison officer is really a thankless job. Very rare somebody will say, hey, prison service, you're doing a good job. But silently, every now and then you bounce up somebody who will say, hey, sir, you remember me? I'm working now, I'm doing this, you know. And a lot of time people meet you on the street and thank you for contributing to their lives while they was in prison. And that is silent moment. You don't read about that. And that is what really keep us motivated to continue to try to help people to change their lives. Now.
That's why I like every time I talk to Commissioner Stewart, he always say, like, you know, when I address him as commissioner, he say, he don't deal with titles. You know, he's a servant. You understand? And to be honest, when I first started coming YTC, he was the superintendent of YTC. You understand? And I mean, the effort I see Mr. Stewart put out, I mean, now we're seeing the fruits of what he has really planted. I think it's the 18th is the game, right?
Yeah.
What's your preparation like? How? Any additional preparing? Any?
Well, we just trying to
nervousness, butterflies.
No, well, our preseason we played almost every professional team in the country.
Okay.
So for us playing a team that described as a big team is another game for us.
And on the day it's 11 versus 11.
Yeah, so we're not afraid of no team in this division. 2 years ago we defeated Army in the same cup, and Army was the eventual winners of the Premier Division at that time. So with Guaya being on top or second, whatever, in the League One, that doesn't phase us a bit. We continue our preparation. So we're just looking at getting some games between now and the 18th, because they would be playing games, so they would be game sharp. So we just want to have some games so we could match them in sharpness. But we have no fear. We put everything in God's hands. And God knows for us is more than a trophy. These are the trophies to us. These young men, that is our trophies.
Because I'm going to ask you, winning the cup is one thing, but what will winning the cup actually do for the young men?
It's a motivating factor to them because they're creating history. First time we have lads playing with prison team. So they are pioneers really. And how far they take us is a great motivation for them to be part of this journey with prisons. And for the ones who may come after, they certainly the standard for them to come. So everybody's motivated to see how far we could go with this. Yes, and that is what we're really driving on.
I want to give you the opportunity because I know that there are a number of people who would have been responsible for, you know, getting the team and getting you all where you are today. I mean, you might want to say a special thanks to them.
The manager of the team, Mr. Bibi, he is one that anything we need, he'll try his best to get it for the team. He is one that we could depend on. Of course, the commissioner and the senior staff, they behind us, because we don't really have no issue with the officers getting time for game or anything. I think the whole service and the whole really supporting the football. We don't have no issues at all. You just need a sponsor, really. Yeah, because as you say with the civilians and then there's all these things they need in football. And
but if somebody wants to sponsor or contribute, who do they contact or, you know, things like that?
Well, they could call any of the station, they could call YTC and ask to speak to any of the sports officer. I'm a sports officer there. So even if I'm not there, they could get information from any of the sports officers there, and then we would pass it on to the manager of the team. So they could contact YTC, and from there we could get things happening. Yeah.
What's the support coming out for the 18 from YTC?
From the service and the whole, the entire service coming out, I know a number of the teams that we would have played practice games, we have good relationships with them, and a number of them say they come in to back us. Muruga say the whole of Muruga come in to support prison on that day, because we have 1 or 2 players from that area.
Okay.
And we always have a good thing with every team we play. In the preseason, it's not just about playing a team, it's about carrying a relationship out. Because we want people, as I said before, we are human beings, we are citizens of Trinidad like everybody else. We just work in one of the most dangerous environments as part of our duty for the country. And people have to recognize that, I feel and appreciate it more than they actually do. The fact that, as I said before, the media knows bad news sell, and probably that really kind of tarnish the image of prison officers and the service. But this is the reality. This is the part that doesn't sell, but this is the part that's actually taking place every day. We put our job, our money, our lives on the line to help people to change their lives. That's what prison service is about. And this opportunity here, we're really grateful for it. So we could say, hey, this is what prison officers is about. This is what prison officers do. We see these guys as representing our children. That is what they represent. They is not somebody child who lock up in YTC. They represent our youth. These are our future. They belong to us. That is how prison officers see these youths. And that is how we open the door to give them opportunity. One who came out recently, that is Cody Kojo. A prison officer got a job for him. Because I know he was asking about job. So a prison officer went the extra mile and asked around till he was successful in getting a job for him. He didn't have to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't have to do that. And that is not just one story, but there are millions of stories that it doesn't sell. Nobody picks up a paper as if they say prison service do something good. If you see prison service and something bad by it, everybody wants a copy of that paper. And that is the disadvantage we have as prison officers.
Isaiah, before I wrap, right, I want you to be the spokesman, especially you from YTC. Is there anything you would like to say publicly to the officers who are around the team and you all?
Me?
Yeah.
I would like to say thanks for the Canterbury and the head coaches, and thanks for all the time and all the support. Thanks for everything I have done to you so far. I'm going to bless all that.
And before I wrap, I want to tell you something. You see the logo that you have on your chest there?
Yes, sir.
All of you all are lads at YTC. You represent the prison service. You understand? And it's not an easy thing to have a logo and don't represent it properly, right? And especially the prison service. There's a big logo on your chest there. So always try and keep that in mind, right? And you always go, the right way.
Yes, sir.
Viewers, we have come to the end of another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and if you miss any part of this program, remember there's a repeat tomorrow at 1 p.m. so you can view us then. I want to say a special thanks again to the people responsible at Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service, especially Superintendent Canterbury, for organizing and getting the approval to get these guys down here. Isaiah Thomas, Isaiah Perrott, Nicholas Farrell, Kwasi Williams, Anderson,
Veronique.
Veronique. Sorry. And Gary, I want to thank you all for coming, and I hope that the viewers really appreciate that this was not just all about prison playing on the 18th for a League Cup. It was showing the relationship with officers, civilians, and lads, and showing a positive side of the officers, what they do behind the scene that you, the viewers, not seeing. And as I said, if there's anybody outside there who is willing to sponsor or to contribute to something that is worthy, we talk about crime fighting, right? This is crime fighting. Because you don't want these guys to come out and to go back into the lives they were living before. We would love to sit down one day and see any one of these guys in the national colors representing Trinidad and Tobago. And it could happen because they are getting the proper guidance from now. sometimes we look at going into an institution as a bad thing. But who say these guys were outside if they would have been playing football and playing football at this level, right? A lot of people, a lot of good footballers are outside there on the block, not playing it, not being seen. These guys have an opportunity. So again, I want to thank you all for coming, right? I will be there on the 18th to support you all, right? And regardless of the outcome, look at the achievements. The achievement sometimes is better than the outcome, than receiving a cup. So again, viewers, we want to thank you. We hope you have a pleasant week ahead, and we look forward to joining you next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Remember, this is Scoreboard on ACTN. I'm your host, George Matheson. Have a blessed week ahead.